The cats were going crazy, and I lost track of time a bit too much. But thank you so much for waiting for me. So, I just want to make sure, is the audio okay? I'm still at my desk, but we'll move over in just a second. Everything sound good? 다이조부, 다이조부, 다이조부. Okay. And also, before we start, I wanted to at least say thank you for the resubs already. Also, I have my window open just to let a little bit of a night breeze in, but if it's too annoying, we can always shut it. So, if you feel like you hear traffic noises, well, there's also a traffic noise backtrack, but anyways, Nayu, thank you so much for the resub for 32 months. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Blazing Bear, thank you so much for the resub. For 5 months. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. And lastly, but not leastly, Entropy of Desire, welcome back. Thank you so much for 2 months. Welcome back, welcome back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe I should just go ahead and shut the window. It's really loud. Anyways, give me just a moment and we can get nice and cozy, okay? Alright. Give me just a second. over. But see there. Do you want to come lay next to me? Well, I'm not laying down just yet myself, but you can come be close if you're here. I have fresh, clean pillowcases on my pillows. The pillowcases are actually brand new. My mom and my sister got me new sheets for Christmas. I feel like maybe I'm getting old because I got really excited because I got new sheets and I got new slippers for Christmas. So, I'm really excited to have stuff that makes life a little bit cozier at home. But here, come over here. Yeah. Okay, here. You can lay down right here if you want. But if you're not sleepy yet, then you don't have to sleep or anything quite yet. I'm still a little wired myself. A bit anxious, let's just say. It's nothing because like I'm anxious because, you know, because you're laying here next to me or anything. Okay? So don't think it's that. It's just anxious because I was running so late. Here, let me set my keyboard right there. Here. Here, I'll give you some blankets. That way, you can be nice and warm too. Is it cozy? Do you feel comfy? Good. Anyways, I thought since things have been a bit stressful and the year is winding down, a new one is just around the corner, that hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sorry, it is really loud. I thought that well, I haven't really done too much reflection in my journal, but it would be nice to just kind of start thinking about my plans and goals for next year. I kind of stopped writing resolutions or resolving things and just kind of using it, the new year, as a time to reflect and think about what I want out of my next year. Because when I think back on the goals and plans I had for this year, it's kind of crazy because it's totally different than what I feel like nothing has changed, but at the same time, a lot has changed. I don't know. I'm not gonna let you read it, but I brought out my journal that I was using a little bit last year. Admittedly, I kind of stopped using it after I broke my wrist. But I thought it would be fun to kind of look at some of the stuff I wrote. Things that were worrying me at the beginning of last year. Actually, I had some from the end of last year too that I forgot to grab. Well, that's fine. Oh, you can't read it. Oh, big. There's private stuff in here, okay? This is for my eyes only. There's also a lot of stickers in here. I like kind of making my journal into a junk journal sometimes, which is like taking stickers and wrappers, drawing things, just taping whatever in my journal. Well, at least it might be kind of chuny. But do you want to at least read what I wrote the first day welcoming 2024? It says, welcome 2024. And also says Yorokonde, which is like my pleasure in Japanese. But I wrote, I'm feeling fired up more now than ever before on New Year's. I'll do what I can to keep living in the moment this year, and especially leave behind my doubts about myself and my work. Looking forward to making more memories, but also enjoying my downtime more beneficially. I will especially take more comfort in my alone time and nurture bonds that are fruitful for my life and creativity. Oops. My personal goals are to commit to more regular Japanese studying, which didn't happen. Exercise, which didn't happen. And creating more art pieces, which did happen. I hope to find better means to live life being myself, evolving and rebuilding along the way. This year I will be unrepentingly alive. That's what I wrote. I also wrote, I drew my own little Uma. Uma are like the little wooden boards that they have at Shinto shrines. What the heck? Sorry, I think some guys are wrestling. Guys meaning cats. So if you heard a bump, it's because there's a cat tree on the other side of the wall in my room. What are they doing? Oh my god. The monster's in the closet. Don't worry, you're safe. You're safe. They're just funny guys. Anyways, my wish for 2024, I wrote that I wish for more self-confidence, focus, and success. I hope to be further recognized for my creativity and passion, and hope to become audacious, take more risks, and stay mindful and present. I feel like I started 2024 really strong. I took a lot of risks, but I feel like when I broke my wrist, I became really afraid that I couldn't trust myself, that if I take risks, I'll get hurt, that, I don't know, it's just like, it feels like it caused a lot of growing pains for me this year, especially being in a cast. I broke my wrist, actually when I was abroad, which was kind of terrifying in itself. I went to Japan. Oh my god, what are they doing? I just want to relax, guys. They must be wrestling or something on the cat tree. They never usually make this much noise. But I guess it's just like realizing that they're really fragile. They meaning me, not the cats. Sorry, I was thinking about the cats, but also myself. I am a bit more fragile than I feel like I want to be. Both physically, but also especially emotionally and mental. I heard a crying guy. A chatter. But I don't know. It's also just because even before I went to Japan, there was a lot of kind of tumultuous feelings leading up to it. I was excited for the trip, but there was someone that I was really close with in 2023 that at the beginning of 2024, decided to really distance myself from. And leading up to Japan, when that person found out that I was going, and I was going on my own, I specifically went for Holo Expo. They decided that they would go too, which didn't sit right with me. I don't know. It was just weird because it's not like I necessarily invited them, but they were like, I don't know, it felt like it was like a competition. And I'm not particularly someone who likes being competitive outside of like games. Games or, things where I feel like I really want to challenge. I feel like when it comes to adventures, comes to living my life, comes to traveling, I don't want it to be a competition. I'm going places for myself, not because I'm trying to, I
I don't know, do stuff first. Maybe they were fueled by fear of missing out or something, but anyways, leading up to it, I was really uncertain and anxious about it. Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable when people invite themselves to things, or like, I remember a big reason it even happened was I found out that there was someone else that I think is really easy to talk to and has a lot of life experience and wisdom that was also going to be in Japan the same time of year that I was. So I made plans to see them, and I ended up letting them dissolve because when the person who invited themselves at the same time, yeah, they paid for their own stuff. Like, they didn't stay with me or anything. I didn't end up seeing them at all. But leading up to it, it was just like, I guess, a nail in the coffin for kind of our friendship at the time. I've really been vague about a lot of this stuff because they're also present in the VTuber space, and I'm not someone who likes to air my dirty laundry. I don't ever want things to come back and bite me in the butt, and I don't want, there's always going to be two sides to a story, you know? So, and I'm always someone who handles things that cause me stress a bit more privately. A lot of it has to do with why the VTuber group I was part of, we called ourselves Chujubu. Some of you guys know about it, some of you don't. Why Chujubu dissolved. And we were pretty quiet about it. We didn't make like a huge announcement about it, regardless of the fact that one of the people involved really wanted to. It was really weird. It was like they were very against dissolving, but four of us decided that it was a good idea, that it would be better for all of us if we dissolved, and one person was very, very against it. But then like the next day they were like, okay, so can I make the announcement post? And that just left such a weird taste in my mouth, to be like, we're just a bunch of guys, we don't need black text on a white screen. I'm not, just let bygones be bygones. I don't know, man. So, anyways, maybe I'm just rambling a little too much, but it was just, because it's like, I don't talk to them anymore, and I don't particularly want to talk to them anymore because they said a lot of hurtful things to me. They said a lot of very hurtful things to other people about me. They said a lot of hurtful things about people that I really care about to me. They just said a lot of very, very, very hurtful things, and I mean, like, you can girl boss your way out of it, I guess, but I just don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to be a two-faced person. But, I don't know. I don't want to, like, I feel bad even saying as much as I have already, because a lot of seeders still support this person, and I'm not trying to cancel them. I'm not trying to, like, tell anyone to not support them or not watch them. I've never been the type of person who wants to control my community beyond, like, you know, wrangling you guys around for events and stuff. But just don't like being two-faced. I just don't like people who are two-faced. Maybe it's just because I'm kind of autistic and I can't tell when people are honest or not. And I tend to take what people say at face value for the best I can. But whenever I start to overthink and read into things, it's just like really hard for me to parse. I feel like I have to do like deduction game style tactics in a friendship. Is just not good, man. It's just not good. So that was basically all of this happened like in January of 2024. So for better or worse, I feel like it really defined a lot of this year, but it's at the same time feels like it was like the experience of like pulling a bee, like a stinger, out of your skin, where it hurts and it's gonna keep hurting. But if you have thorns or you have a bee stinger in your skin, you have to pull it out, you know? And some of the poison is still gonna be there, but over time it'll heal and you'll feel better, and it's like it never happened after a while. Maybe not that it never happened. I don't want that experience, but I want to be able to learn from it, I guess. Everyone talks shit about each other. I wouldn't say that, like, I think there's a difference between talking about people, like, in conversation, and talking shit. Like, I don't particularly like that side of me, I guess. So I try my very best to not judge people and not talk ill of them behind their backs, because I don't want that myself, you know? Yeah. Everyone's a little two-faced. Yeah, I mean, everyone masks for sure. But it just felt really disappointing, I guess, because I knew this person for such a long time, and I trusted them with a lot of very private information. A lot of problems I was having, I relied on them. But to hear that when I was really trusting them with some heavy emotions, that they would just like 5 minutes later tell someone else about it, about what I really trusted and confided them in, it's just weird. It's just weird behavior, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's like when it did get brought up to other people, I guess it was like the way that it was talked about was like I was being talked down to, you know? So it felt like for a while I couldn't trust others. Felt like that I was really weak. So, and then I broke my wrist, so it was just like the first half of the year was just me being like agony. I'm laughing about it to cope, but I felt mentally weak and I felt physically weak, like one after another. So I was just like really realizing that it's okay to be a glass cannon, that I can find strength in it myself, I guess. But I wouldn't say like all bad stuff happened this year. I don't even technically say that what happened with the person that I don't talk to anymore was bad. It was a growing experience for me, and a means for me to reconcile my own unsavory behavior, I suppose. Because, like, I admit, I wasn't the nicest person either. Especially when I was around them. Like I said, they would talk really badly of someone that I really, really value, and someone who's been dealing with a lot of difficult things. They were very jealous of them, and then I became jealous of them. I don't know. I just started drinking the Kool-Aid. It's hard for me to not give in to peer pressure sometimes. It's hard for me to not want to feel like I belong. So when someone starts kind of hyperfixating on being a bully to someone else, it's hard for me to not kind of buy into that behavior, you know? But the good news is, I really admitted fault for it, I guess. And I apologized. I didn't really say, like, I don't think it would benefit anyone to really express what I did to a detail, but to the person that I was also kind of bullying, I really owned up to it the best I could and assured them that I really, really value them and care about them. And as a result, we've been able to really grow close again. So, yeah. So, also, I would say that there's a silver lining from it. And I think a big thing for me is going into the next year. This is a bad time, then don't say it. It's that easy. What were we talking about? I don't even. I think a big thing for next year is I want to try and stop letting the guilt eat me alive, which is way easier said than done, because growing up, going to tenshi school and being a part of the tenshi church means that you have this thing called tenshi guilt, and the tenshi guilt goes to the fucking grave, bro. A lot of the Church of Tenshi is kind of guilt-ridden, I guess, and it's like teachings and ideals. It's a lot of confessing to the bad things that you've done, repenting. So it's like, even though I'm not really part of the church anymore, a lot of that stuff, because that was where my socialization took place growing up, it's hard for me to detach from that, you know? Because it wasn't just like, oh, I go to church on the weekend. I went to a tenshi religious school from kindergarten all the way until college. So, like, all of my adolescent was being part of the church. So, a lot of people laugh and they say it really explains a lot about why you are the way you are. But I don't know. I don't think religion is necessarily bad, like, for everyone. It's just not for me, man. But sorry, I had to clear my throat. I feel like whenever bad things happen, I tend to really berate myself and really kind of, even if someone isn't mad at me, even if someone is even slightly upset with me and I've done something that is like, I'm in the wrong, I will be very, 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 very hard on myself and then take that guilt with me and continue to think that I don't deserve their forgiveness, I guess. So I really want to try to recognize when I'm feeling that way, recognize that experience, I guess, and try my best to move past it. Oh, this is someone like so true. Pick a flaw, man. You can't be growing up autistic and Catholic. That's just pick a flaw. I'm just kidding. So pick me. But I think a lot of it is just realizing that, well, I tend to really beat myself up when I make mistakes, that I gotta realize that I'm not this monster that I think I am. A lot of the times I have a really bad temper sometimes. I'm sure you guys know that. You've seen it, especially mostly for games, but unfortunately that temper can also be seen in my daily life offline at times. So I don't want to let my temper, I guess, control me, but at the same time I don't want to just bottle it up going into the new year. But I haven't really found a good outlet. Maybe that's why I need to exercise more. Oh my god, what if I take up boxing? I thought about it last night. I watched a movie last night called Kids Return. It's a Japanese film from the 90s, I think. Directed by Beat Takashi, or Kitano Takashi. Kitano, what was it? I already forgot what his full name was. But anyways, Takashi Kitano. Yes. But Kids Return was the first film that I've seen that he directed, but he was not in. All of the other Beat Takashi movies that I've seen, he was also an actor in them. So it was a really, really interesting film to watch from a production standpoint, because it felt like it was dripping with his soul, and you could see it. I could almost see him delivering a lot of the lines, but at the same time he didn't appear on screen even once. kids, well, actually, a lot of them take up boxing. And I'm like, damn, that looks really therapeutic. I don't think I could take any punches, though. I think I would just only practice. I don't think I would ever want to spar. I don't think I could take punches, man. It is Boxing Day. Happy Boxing Day to Canadian Cedars. Happy Boxing Day. But it's like exercise is a good outlet for me, but I feel like I can only get rid of so much pent up anger by running or like lifting weights, you know? I feel like I need something that's a little bit more forceful. So maybe I'll give it a try sometime. I think it would be fun. That's me pretending to box. But I don't know. So a lot happened at the beginning of the year. That's mostly what I wrote when I wrote in my journal anyways. I also wrote about stuff I was watching at the time. Like I was rewatching Kids on the Slope. So I wrote a quote from here, from Kids on the Slope. It says, "What are you scared of? Nothing good has ever come from fear." That's Bonchan's line. Kawabuchi Sentaro says that. I just started it. Yes! I love Kids on the Slope. It was a rewatch. I watched it for the first time really long time ago, but I rewatched it at the beginning of this year. I think that's part of why I want to especially commit to writing stuff down this year, because it's just nice to go back and not only look at quotes from stuff that I've read, but also just like keep a log of the stuff that I've been playing, things I've been reading, what I've been watching. Yeah. If you like jazz especially, I recommend Kids on the Slope. We were watching Welcome to the NHK in the server because I drew, I forget what the mascot characters are called. The little scrimblows, the NHK mascot guys. I was playing Elebits. I drew some of the Elebits in my journal too. Oh my god, remember Elebit streams? Classic. Oh, and this is when I did Bar Tenshi. Oh my god, it's already been a year. Bar Tenshi. I said it was a highlight of my career so far. Wow. I worked so hard, I said, to make super tasty and aesthetically pleasing drinks. Beyond that, I found really good success with my ability to talk and set good ambiance for the stream. I said it felt like a really long day, but I could sleep peacefully knowing I did my absolute best. I can't wait to host my next Bar Tenshi, I say, on January 6th. Thank you, Tenshi of the past. I want to do it again. Don't worry. I'm still planning to. That was part of why I did the cooking stream. Wait, I just
realized something. Hold on. This whole time, I've been talking into your left ear instead of your right ear. So hopefully that's better. It's a little bit better for me, at least. It matches better. Go in. Alright, I hope no one said so in chat and I was just ignoring it. My bad. Ow. But hold on, let me clear my throat too. Okay, anyways. I think a good thing about this last year that I was really happy with is that I really made a lot of growth, or had a lot of growth with art, and felt like winding down rather, at the end of 2024, I've started to really see, or rather want to keep reminding myself that streaming in a way is art for me. Because I know over the last year, I had a lot of times where I would be gone for like a week. There was the Japan trip. I was sick at the beginning of the year. I took like a whole week off because I had a really bad infection. Streaming is hard. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of 2023 was me somehow telling myself that I'm like quote unquote wasting time streaming. But even though I had to take a lot of time for myself in 2024, I feel like the time that I did spend streaming was really well spent. I don't think that there was maybe one or two out of the like 200, I think it was almost 200 streams that I did this year. Maybe one or two where I was like, well, that was a wash. I was really proud of a lot of my streams. Because it's like we spent time doing a lot of driving streams within the last couple months especially, but we also did a lot of cool ASMR that I haven't done in a while. I also got a lot of success through ASMR within the last year, which is nice. Yeah. We had the train streams, which were fun. We did the phone streams. Gotta do more of that this year too. The phone microphone was really fun to play with and mess around with. I feel like I really pushed myself to try innovating with streaming this year. I feel like at the beginning of the year, I did it because I wanted approval and I wanted validation and acceptance from peers. But now that the year's winding down, I feel like all of the concepts that I've brought to fruition and ones that I want to try are self-serving and for the sake of the challenge. Feels like that was a lot of what
that was a lot of what the road trip stream was me just wanting to challenge myself and also just have fun with you guys. I feel like at the beginning of the year, a lot of it was me wanting validation externally, but I still like that you guys validate me though. But feels like I found a better balance of not necessarily wanting validation from other streamers, I guess. Other validation from my friends. I feel like that was a big reason why I had a lot of growing pains. Was when we decided to dissolve Chuchubu, I really relied on our group for validation a lot, and I really relied on my friends in Chuchubu for validation, for support, and a lot of the last year was me trying to find the means of validating myself, not needing so much praise all the time, but I still like being praised. Everybody likes being praised and validated, right? It's only natural. But as a result, when my friends were just busy living their lives and everyone was not necessarily growing apart, but just kind of coming into their own skin as soloists, or kind of trying new things with new groups that they were parts of, or seeing them grow in on their own new adventures, it was really comforting, I guess. To see everyone just kind of thriving, and I felt really lonely at first. And I know I talked with you guys a little bit when I was feeling really down a couple weeks ago. That I always got paranoid that like my friends hated me. But at least I can say right now that I know a lot of it is just because we're all living our lives and just doing things that are important to us. Sometimes those things take a lot of effort and focus. So, yeah, I just want to take comfort and trust my friends more. That even if we don't talk as often as we used to, that doesn't mean we're any less friends. And then, when we do get a chance to talk and catch up, it's that much more fun because we have so much to talk about. Yeah. So I hope that at least you guys can also trust those in your life a little bit more too. We can work on it together. Ne? Ne, see there? My day's been good. I was just busy today. I super overslept. I feel like all day yesterday, all I did was sleep and watch a movie. And then today I slept more. I slept in until like almost 1. Real degenerate behavior. Real degenerate behavior. Then I went to my gold center. I picked up a keyboard because Santa gave me a keyboard on Throne. So I went to pick it up. Yeah. And then part of the reason I was running so behind was because I spent like an hour or 2, I think, swapping all of my Moomin keycaps and my switches from my wired keyboard to this new wireless keyboard. Yeah. I didn't broke. Someone got me one on Throne. I said Throne. I did not buy a broken keyboard. But then it's like, is this one lyric? I don't know it. But I spent so long on it, and then I like checked the time, and I was like, oh fuck, it's 8 p.m. Oh no. No. Yeah. But I don't know. A lot happened this year. I feel like a big thing was that I got stuck in my head a lot, and then I would be offline for like a week. I was off at the beginning of the year because I was sick. I was off for Japan because I was gone for almost a month. Then I got back and my wrist was broken, so I was offline a bit longer. Then what else happened? I was offline again because I went to visit my family. I was offline again because I moved. I don't know. I feel like I took too many breaks last year. I feel like I spent too much time doing other stuff. But at the same time, I feel like it wasn't a waste of time, you know? It was important to me. It was a priority, and sometimes life happens. But I think it's important for me to have a good work-life balance, you know? But I think a lot of it is because I feel like when it comes to work-life balance, the life portion is like sometimes I just kind of get stuck looking at stupid stuff that I don't even want to spend my time on. But like Twitter mostly. My brain tries to rationalize it because I'm like, oh, I follow so many cool artists on Twitter, and there's so much cool stuff to look at. But I realize that it's like overconsumption. I do have Blue Sky. I am on Blue Sky. But it's the same kind of conundrum where I feel like it enables me to overconsume art. I feel like and not really take my time viewing art or spending time looking at the details sometimes online, Because that's part of why I really like going to art museums or gallery shows. It's because the gallery, the museum is curated, right? And even if my timeline is curated, the way that the algorithm works is it's always going to shove new stuff at me. So, I think I want to spend, but it's like, the other thing is, I think for me, I get stuck in my head because so many of my other friends who are streamers tweet so much and spend so much time on Twitter. I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna grow. I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think by being like non-existent on Twitter is like a bad thing. I don't think I'll deactivate or anything. I felt like it the other day when I was going through it, but because it's nice at least to post and like update when things are happening. But I overthought a lot of my Twitter posts for a while. I'd be like, I want to post something stupid, but if I post it, then it's gonna, oh my god, the algorithm, people are gonna unfollow me. So stupid. Yeah, exactly. I just gotta tweet that dumb shit. Just send tweet. Just type whatever, send tweet. And then log off and then come back and see replies and be like, that's cool. Right? Yeah, the pressure of what if I tweet something and number go down? No! We hate number go down. But part of me also is like, if I tweet too much stupid shit, then I'm gonna lose my facade of being the cool, brooding bimbo girl. That everyone totally thinks I am, right? Ooh, you're so edgy. Maybe you aren't that. Yeah, we all think that. I know you think I'm so cool. But I think there's like cool, edgy thoughts that I could probably vocalize more. Yeah. Today, when I was at Micro Center, I had a can of coffee, and I was with Shimada, and Shimada also had a can of coffee, and we were like, oh, I don't think we can bring it inside. So then we were just like degens out in the parking lot drinking coffee, and then I squatted like I was like a Yankee. I didn't have my fake prop cigarette or anything though, to really sell the experience. But it definitely felt like it was like cracking open a cold one. But it's that kind of stuff that I feel like I should tweet more. Cracking open a cold can of coffee in the parking lot, acting like I'm a delinquent. Is there a good Asian restaurant by it? I hate to break it to you, but Southern California has like a zillion very good Asian restaurants, so I wouldn't say there's just one. It's because there's a lot of It's because like the West Coast is the closest to Southeast Asia, right? So there's a lot of people who either immigrated or, you know, have been living here for a while, and they just never wandered farther east. So there's a lot of really good food here. Lots of very good Asian food. I found, actually, a friend recommended this really new, not new, it's not new. I used to live close to it, actually. But this really good udon place. Hold on, let me drink some water real quick. Hold on. Okay. Here. My neck is hurting. So I'm gonna get comfier. You don't mind, right, Cedar? Knit. Let me make this a bit bigger too. Hold on. That way I can read better. Okay. Now I can lay a little bit closer too and not bend my neck in an awkward position. But what was I talking about? Oh, there's a new udon place that my friend recommended we go to for lunch a couple weeks ago. And I wanted to introduce Shimada to this friend as well, because I want to not only make more friends myself, but if I think people get along, I want to, nurture friendships, introduce people. It's my friend who has a snake that I feed whenever they go on vacation. They have a snake. His name is Tube, because he is a tube. He was really... They're actually on vacation right now. And I went over to try to feed Tube, but he was so, temperamental. He was in a mood. He did not want to eat his pinky. I was like, okay. We try again another day. Here, are you cold? It's starting to get really cold at night now. Here. Let me pull the blankets up. So, I went to an udon place. It was really good. 'Cause they make their own, they make all the udon in-house. They had this really good tonkatsu curry udon. And when I ate it, I felt so like the people fat emote afterwards, but it was so good. I felt like the most people fat ever, but it was so good. Their tonkatsu was really good. And the curry broth was thick, but not too thick. Especially, it was really good because the tonkatsu on top picked up just a little bit of the curry, but was still crunchy and crispy, so it was really good. But there's a lot of really good Asian food close by. I think
good Italian food. It's really hard to find good Italian food on the West Coast, at least in Southern California. I feel like a lot of it is pretty mid. It's usually like too greasy, too heavy, or it's just like cheap. Like it tastes cheap, but you pay. It's like Olive Garden. Oh my god. Sorry. Well, I don't know why I'm apologizing. That wasn't me. So loud. Come on. Cranking mom. Yeah, must have been a motorcycle. Definitely a motorcycle, right? No, it was out here. My bad. Oh my god. It's still loud. Bro, go away. That is definitely not like a cool sports bike. That's like a bad bike. B1 sports bikes are usually higher pitched. You know? That's a hog for sure, right? Yeah. What are we talking about? Food? Oh. I feel like a lot of Italian food here is like Olive Garden. Like one step above Olive Garden. Where you pay like 20 to 25 bucks for a plate. And it's just like mid or bad. I'm like, man, maybe I should just make more Italian food at home. I haven't made tomato sauce in a while. It's really like making tomato sauce. It's really good. Yeah. I don't hate Olive Garden, I guess. It's just like, it's so expensive. And it's just like bagged food. If it was fresh, I would maybe care more, but it's just like so overpriced. Mrs. Moy said she'd leave if I took her home. Olive Garden. Pork. Bjorf. Sorry, my bed is closer to the window, so you get more window sound. So, you can hear all the people outside walking their dogs, all of the cars driving by. But my friend's apartment, I can walk to their place to help feed their snake, but their apartment faces a completely different direction of mine. As mine, it's so quiet. Their apartment is so quiet. I don't mind street traffic though. Oh, my neck is starting to hurt again. Maybe we should switch sides. But then I can't read chat. I'll just lay like this. Here, I'll look at chat on my phone. Let me pull it city, so street traffic always has like a level of comfort to me, you know? Something I don't mind, but I know a lot of people think that it's annoying. Which I respect. Some people like peace and quiet. That's why so many people live out in the woods or on the mountains, live really remote places. But I don't mind traffic. I don't think I could handle living in like a true big city downtown area though. Someplace like living in New York or like downtown LA. It's so much louder there. I already live in a city, but it's like not as big of a city, you know? Does that make any sense? Maybe. I feel like for me, when it comes to chain food, I don't really like eating chain food because there's so much small business here, and having a small business here is really hard. It's like if I'm gonna go out of my way to not eat at home and spend money on food somewhere else, I'd rather spend it on like a smaller business than a chain. Somewhere that a little bit more care is taken in the kitchen, you know? It's important to me. Yeah. Makes a nice cozy place. Well, usually, sometimes, hopefully. But let me see. There was stuff that I thought about trying to. There's like a few like journal prompts that I thought about maybe writing about. I thought it might be nice to kind of talk about them. Talk about them together. Maybe think about it so that when it comes to time to, or comes time for me to write some down, I kind of know what to write about. I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to find like quote unquote good journal prompts. It feels like a lot of them are just trying to get clicks, or it's like about quantity, not quality. Like they'll be like 500 journal prompts, and it's like, what is your favorite food and why? Which I don't think is necessarily a bad prompt, but when it comes to journaling and writing, I'm someone who prefers really thinking. I'm gonna take time to write something down and have it be written to come back to and read. I want something that really makes me think and reflect. So I found at least one set of some prompts
These ones are specifically for reflection and goal setting for the new year. So maybe we can think about them and talk about them together. So this first one is, name one new habit you formed this year. How has it impacted your daily life? One new habit. I wouldn't say it's like a daily habit, but I feel like just habitually relying on analog media a bit more. Like, I use my vinyl player to listen to music sometimes, because there's just something that's really nice about having to take a record out of a sleeve, put it on a turntable, watch the needle go into place, and then having to, listening to the A side, listening to it stop, getting up, going, flipping to the B side, continuing my listening. It's just something that's really kind of ritualistic and comforting. I think it like scratches the same itch that making pour over coffee does. A lot of people will say pour over coffee is too much effort and that there's too much to focus on. But when you get really repetitive with it, it's really, really comforting. I think it's nice to have little rituals like that. I think I took too many naps and I slept too much in 2023. I think I spent too much time asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's just because sleeping is just like a natural kind of coping mechanism for me. Either if I'm anxious or sad or stressed or worried, I tend to just take naps. It's been like that for me for a while. It's part of why I kind of like ASMR, because I can really get cozy and relax and spend time with you this way. But more on like analog. I feel like this last year I really spent a lot of time trying to step away from digital art and make more traditional art. Practice sketching more. I did a lot more painting this year, which was really nice. And also reading more. I really like reading, but because I moved around so much, I stopped collecting books. I got rid of a lot of books that I did have or kept through the years. But slowly been buying books again and building up my own little library. Beyond that, I just want to go to the library more, I think. I don't even have a library card. You know what Arthur says, having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. I feel like it would be just nice because I could always go on a little DD myself to the library. Yeah. Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody touch me. And I said, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. You could play. How has it impacted my daily life? I feel like having more of an attachment to analog media has made not only the time that I spend online and spend with digital media kind of a little bit more curated or a bit more special, but it's also made it easier for me to slow down. I feel like my days don't just kind of blend together as often as they used to by taking time to read, taking time to write things in my journal. It's not even like particularly thought-provoking stuff. Sometimes I just like write whatever, or I just write stuff that I found online, or write quotes from books or movies or anime. Sometimes I just doodle. Like in the journal that I've been keeping lately, I spent a whole page just doodling cats. It's just nice to just put a pen or a pencil to paper. Or, like I said, I kind of junk journal sometimes too. I like keeping like tags from things sometimes, or if the packaging is really cute, like a piece of candy, and it's not like too gross, I'll tape it into my book. It's just cute to look at, because then it reminds me of some of the smaller things in life that I either get for myself or try out. Even if it's just like a receipt from a cafe, sometimes it's nice to hold on to those things and just take comfort in daily life instead. I'm gonna post that page, maybe. We'll see. But I realized it's like consuming analog media more is also why I feel like I did my best to take time to go visit art museums and art galleries a little bit more. Because even when I think back, I feel like I went to galleries and museums more often in the last year than I have in like the last 5 years. I went to Japan and I went to at least 3 small galleries. They were all just like really small indie artists, nothing huge. Wait, no, I did go to a big museum. Well, when I was in Kanazawa, I went to the 21st Century Art or Museum of Modern Art, which is one of the like best art museums I've ever been to. But because Kanazawa, when I went, it was shortly after the really bad earthquake that they had last year on New Year's. The whole building itself is really beautiful, but it's made out of a lot of glass, so a lot of the gallery was closed. But it was still really nice to go. It's just they didn't really have a lot of art to look at. I went to the Getty, which is a really famous art museum in LA. I went twice this year, which was really fun. And And I want to go back because I still haven't even seen, I feel like, all of their permanent exhibits. Let alone, it's nice to go back since they have rotating exhibits pretty regularly. And another thing is next time I go, I really want to bring like food, like a picnic basket, because there's this huge lawn area where you can lay out under the sun. Look at all the beautiful marble architecture for the campus of the Getty. It's a lot of really beautiful landscaping too. Because the weather here is so nice. I feel like it'd be really nice to have a picnic at an art museum. Have some really good coffee too. Especially because the last time I went to the Getty, I ate some of the food that they had in their food cart. So the good news is admission is free, but the bad news is the food was really overpriced. And the pizza, I got pizza and it was like school cafeteria tier. It was really bad. Their scones were good though. They had a really good butterscotch scone. The scone was really good. But the pizza it was so salty and like just, yeah. Some of the worst pizza I've ever eaten for sure. Yeah. But that's part of why next time I go, I want to bring my own picnic. Maybe like a bento box. Or pick up lunch on the way or something. I think it'd be really fun. Really nice. But yeah. Yeah. See, this is why I like prompts like this, because it helps me tangent a little easier. Because it really makes me think about daily life for this prompt. And how stuff has changed. I want to go to more small indie art galleries in SoCal this year. Because I went to at least 2. There's one that was downtown LA called And Gallery that a lot of artists, like indie artists, like Soyatu, who did the animation for my starting screen, had a work at the gallery, and some other artists that I like had works on display there. It was a really small gallery, but it was really cozy, really cute. Because some of the artists, they don't just do like traditional art, or they did do traditional art, but there was also like mixed media, and a lot of them make merch sometimes, because that's a really good way to have income as an artist, is to sell things like stickers, mini prints, instead of just originals. Because not everybody will necessarily like your art enough to buy an original, or buy like a really big piece of art. But maybe if they like your style enough that they'll get like a sticker or something, just to support you in a small way. That's what I like to do. I like to buy stickers a lot, or like tiny prints, as a means of supporting smaller artists that I like, and supporting the gallery. Yeah. Let's see, what's the other prompt? There's, what, 10? Oh my god. I don't even know if we'll get through all 10. Let me read them and see which ones stand out most to me. So let's see, I'll just read them out loud before answering them. Or picking which one. So number 2 is, you currently have something that you dreamed of having last year? What factors led to this accomplishment, and how can you replicate them in 2025? Number 3 says, name one quality that you admire in a friend you made this year. What do you like about that quality, and what does that say about you? That's a cute one. Because I feel like normally I'd be like, what's one quality you admire about yourself? But trying to think about what you admire about the people in your life and what you can take away from them, especially because it's focusing on a friend you made, like a new friend. I think it helps you stay in the present. Number 4 is, what is something or someone you had to let go of this year? Do you feel at peace now? Well, I kind of already answered that one. But, I do feel at peace now a lot more. We can talk more about it. Number 5 says, what was an unexpected joy you experienced this year? That's cute. I'd have to really think about that one, I think. Nothing's coming off the top of my head. I'm sure I could think of lots of stuff, but just like one thing, I would want to pick something really heartfelt. Sorry. What's one thing that you did? Oh, number 6, sorry. Is what's one thing you did that you were afraid to do before? How did you feel afterward? And what's the next fear you want to conquer? That's a good one. Especially as someone who has a lot of anxiety and fear. Postcards are nice too. Yeah! I actually have some watercolor paper that is postcard sized. And on the back it even has a place for you to put a stamp and write an address. I think it'd be fun to paint postcards, and then I used to, like, for a while I would be worried about ever mailing them. Feels like it's like ruining the painting, but the more I think about it and the more that I've seen other art and the more I've been into kind of junk journaling, I think there's something charming about seeing how a postcard can age just by being mailed. Just like being able to mail it out, have it exchange hands both at the sorting, people working at the post office, the people delivering it, stuff like that. I feel like there would be something really cute to see, you know, the stamps that you put on yourself and the mail code and stuff that gets posted, printed on it. I think it'd be cute to see, because that's something that at least one senior has sent me a lot of postcards, which makes me really happy. My P.O. box is still open, but I don't have it listed anywhere publicly because I'm anxious. But it always made me really happy to get postcards from that senior. Not only because it made me happy to know that they were thinking about me whenever they were traveling throughout the country, but also it was fun to kind of get recommendations for other places that I've never seen, and seeing stamps and, you know, the mail, what is it, like the rubber stamps that they slap on your mail so that you know, like, the postmark date. It's just cute to see that. So I think it'd be fun to have that on a postcard that was a painting, especially. So yeah, maybe I'll do that this year. Let's see. Number 7 is, what goals did you not meet this year? What were the external and internal factors that prevented them from being met? I can talk a lot about that one. Especially because, like, I still don't even know if it's a goal. I think that's part of the big thing, but I'll wait. Let me finish reading these. Number 8 is, what does the perfect day look like for you in 2024? Describe it in detail, starting from the moment you wake up. That is something that I kind of reflected on a little bit already. But it'd be nice to kind of describe it in more detail. Number 9 says, name 5 things you are looking forward to most in 2025. Oh wait, did I say 2024? Oh, sorry. What does the perfect day look like for you in 2025? Sorry, these prompts are technically from last year, but they still work. My bad. What does the perfect day look like for you in 2025? Describe it in detail, starting from the moment you wake up. Number 9 is name 5 things you are looking forward to the most in 2025. Examples: trips, creative projects, or personal events. Number 10. Last one is list your ins and outs of 2025. Ins equals do more of, outs do less of. Let's see. Which one do I think do I feel the most connected to? Probably 6 and 7. Feels like I could talk about the most. I could probably write about some of these other ones a little bit better, but that's what I like about journaling, is sometimes I struggle with verbalizing specific things, especially on stream. I second guess a lot, but journaling is nice because I can be candid, just totally speak my mind, free of judgment, know that no one else is really going to read it. For the most part, I hope. Unless I somehow lose my journal. Or maybe she shows secretly reading my diary. I'm just kidding, I don't think she is. Because that was one thing that I did, speaking on this, something you had to let go of. I think something that really helped me, and maybe this is toxic, but something that really helped me at least kind of cope with it and get a lot of the animosity that I had out of my system without it really manifesting in my life was I wrote a hate letter in my journal to the person that I cut out of my life. It was really therapeutic, I'm not gonna lie. I wrote just a really mean letter of what I wish I could tell them, but I never will, because it's not worth it. Even if I do believe in a lot of what it says and do feel a lot of that animosity, it's just not worth it, man. There's enough hate in the world. But at the same time, I didn't want to just reject that animosity. I didn't want to just bottle it up, because it was really starting to eat at me. So that's why I wrote it down instead. But that's something that will never see the light of day. Only for me. Even when I flip in my journal, I usually flip past that page really fast. Oh. Goals I did not meet this year. at the beginning of 2024, and I still can't even say, like, I haven't given up on the goal. Like, I haven't decided it's not for me, but a huge goal of mine. Let me preface this by, at the beginning of the year, after our group dissolved, I don't think I had a lot of trust in my ability to do things by myself. As a streamer, as a VTuber, as an artist, I, at the time, really wanted help. I really wanted a support system beyond friends, and especially because one of my best friends had joined a VTuber company. I thought that that's what I wanted, and it came to be almost like a toxic want, or like a toxic goal, because the thought of failure and the thought of rejection made me, like, the way that if I thought about failing and being rejected by applying to a company, even if it was a small one, even if I could get in, it was like the thought of being rejected made me want to almost give up altogether. Like, I very much pigeonholed myself into this goal that I thought if I wasn't good enough to be accepted by a company, if I wasn't a fit by a company, that I wasn't good enough, period. So that was something that I really had a lot of growing pains for this year. And I don't think it's true anymore. I think I'm really happy with what I've been able to accomplish all on my own this year. And it hasn't even been totally on my own, because I've gotten help from so many friends. I've had support from you guys. Support from so many people. So many friends. Even my family, in a way. So, I think that I really had to learn how to accept that I do have a support system as things are right now. And I really, when I realized that with my efforts towards meeting the goal of joining a company and going, like, quote unquote pro, I really, like I said, I really pigeonholed myself into thinking that when I thought about preparing for failure, you guys know that I don't handle failure very well. I don't handle rejection well, really, at all. I don't think anyone does, but, like, I especially am avoidant. I will just not attempt something instead of attempting and failing, you know? I don't particularly have a lot of mental strength to continue to aim for something and attempt something and fail. But that's part of why I like stuff like Gunbuster. You know, aim for the top, hard work and guts. That's always been a motivating term for me. But yeah, anxiety is one hell of a disease. But anyways, instead of, I guess, part of me, well, I know I could have just pushed through it and feel like I had two choices. It was to not accept failure as an option, or to learn how to accept things as they are right now, as not only not being failure, but just really take time to focus on what's in front of me right here, right now, as opposed to my goal of what I wanted or what I thought I needed, and realizing a lot of what I wanted and needed is already here, right here in front of me, you know? Is this making any sense? I don't know. I'm kind of eepy. But let me see. I can't say that I've given up on that goal though. But I think a lot of it is just me trying to realize what is enough for myself. There's this thing called a hedonistic treadmill, which is that content creation, live performance, really anything can be seen as a treadmill. And whenever you receive a level of success or satisfaction, that same level of success, especially when it comes to being online, because there's so many metrics and numbers, once you hit a goal, you always want more, right? So you keep walking and walking and walking, and it becomes a treadmill. It's always one thing, like it'll never end, right? And I think it's really easy to get caught up in the rat race of wanting to be, like number one. Especially like the last few weeks, there was like 500 award shows. Especially the VTuber award shows. I was just like honk shoe on them, because I don't know, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting awards and wanting like that level of public validation, but a lot of this year was me trying to figure out where I can receive that support and validation as I stand right here, right now. And I think it really helped me a lot. I don't think trying to reject a need for validation altogether is healthy. I don't think being completely like stoic is possible for me. I don't think being an island is possible for me, being someone who does not rely on others. But I think it was easy for me at the beginning of the year to really think that the grass is always greener on the other side. That I thought that if I was somewhere else, or doing something else, working somewhere else, that things would be better and I would feel happier. And that's why the thought of failure made me so depressed. I think the thought of being rejected made me so depressed. But that's why I made the choice this year to take time to get off the treadmill a bit and just realize what I really, really want out of what I'm doing. At least right now. But I feel like as a result now I can really start to think more long term and reevaluate my goal
if maybe aiming for the very top is still something that I could manage or want. Because there is part of me that wants to know what it's like at the top, you know? Curiosity is always going to be there. I want to know, like, the true limits, I guess, of what I'm capable of. And I feel like that's something that I can't really meet on my own. I know how to push myself, but I feel like because I am myself, I don't have an outside perspective to know what I'm really capable of. You know? But I think I want to, as a result, still be okay with what I'm capable of right now. That's what I really learned this year, I think. Yeah, exactly. Getting off the treadmill really does help you realize how much you've walked and how much you've how far you've actually gone. How, even though you feel like your point of view may seem the same, your field of view is the same. Taking time to catch your breath really puts a lot of things into perspective, I think. How do I find the willpower to work hard? I think for me, it's... Oh my god, who is hissing? Why are you booing? Who is booing? Who is booing? Sorry, one of the cats are fighting again outside. I don't even... Let me adjust here. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, how do I find the willpower? For me, I haven't always had that willpower, I guess. I spent a lot of my life, my early adult life, I guess, like when I first started really living on my own after I moved out of my parents' house, I spent a lot of it just working for the sake of working. And I crashed out really hard. And then I was just like working really, really hard at jobs that I did not care about. But I was good at them, and I always wanted more. So I knew I had like the means to want for more and to work hard in a job that like literally consumed me as a person. It was when I was working collections, which I've talked about before, but I used to work in debt collection, and I was really good at it. And because I got that level of validation and praise, I wanted more out of it. I wanted to work hard to work up in the company. I had goals at the time of like transferring offices from where I was to somewhere else. I wanted to work in, like, I wanted to level up and go through the chain, right? But then I crashed out really hard because life happens, things happen. I had one really bad month where I had the audacity to, I say this because like this is how it felt at the time. I had the audacity to take time off and to go visit my family at the beginning of the month. And when you work in collections, if you work backline debt, which is what I was doing, backline debt is like
So most people, when they're in debt, haven't paid their bills in like a month or like 2 months or 3 months, right? Backline is like people are like really avoiding paying their bills, right? Like they racked up the debt, but they're ghosting hard. So when it comes to stuff like that, and that's the department that I was in at the time, it's like you get most of your payments and you meet most of your metrics at the beginning of the month, because that's when you're most likely to catch people, either get them in a conversation or have a dialogue with them, because by the end of the month, basically all of the accounts that are left that haven't gone unpaid, odds are they're just not going to pay because they've already, like, they've ignored your calls multiple times, right? So I took a week off to go visit my family because I didn't live close to them anymore at the beginning of December. And that was already like really difficult for me emotionally, I think. But beyond that, when I came back to work, I didn't really realize that like my metric was bad or like not up to snuff to what my manager and my like team lead wanted. But I also found out that a woman on the same team as me who'd been working at the company for like 12 years, this was my first year of working there. I was kind of humbled with me thinking I was hot shit and I was really good at my job, and realizing that I'm not hot shit. Because this woman who's been working there for 12 years, not only was she like super pro with social engineering, which is a lot of what collections is, but she also knew the ins and out of the programs that we used because she's been there for so long. She knew exactly how to manipulate the program to get priority over accounts that would be more likely to pay, so that what's left for everyone else is like slim pickings, basically. So as a result, she was like always number one because they had rankings. Because the other thing was, at this job, whoever was ranked number one got like a fat bonus every month. So, and if you were, it was 1, 2, and 3 got really good bonuses. And then if your metrics, there was like the base minimum of metrics, and then if you were below those, then you were basically not like on probation, but like you would have to have like counseling, basically. Not like, it's not even counseling, I forgot what they called it. It was like you had to have someone whose job it is to sit down and listen to you doing your calls and doing your work, and just sitting there watching you and figuring out, like, finding, like, basically micromanaging you to figure out what to improve. Yeah, performance improvement plan. Yeah. Stuff like that. So this woman was always number one, and I didn't really think any of it until I became below the metrics, because when I got back, all of the, like, no one was paying. I just had a lot of very, very difficult people to deal with, especially because it was December, and no one wants to spend money on bills when it's Christmas, right? They just want to spend money on gifts. They want to use their money to get gifts for people, you know? So I kind of was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I crashed out super hard. And this was after already kind of crashing out earlier in the career. Oh my We're talking about trauma. Hi! I'm talking about my office lady trauma. Well, Marcel, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Welcome, raiders. Thank you, thank you. Hi, I'm KK. I'm your digital Dempa Dista buddy. And today we're doing Pillow Talk ASMR. So you're laying right here next to me. And I'm laying next to you. So I hope you enjoy your time here. Thank you. We've just been talking about the new year. I've been talking about a lot of reflection over the last year. We've been kind of emotional with it. Nothing like, I'm not like crying on stream or anything. But I have been, I guess, being a bit vulnerable tonight. So, I hope that you enjoy your stay here. And Lulu, thank you so much. It's nice to meet you. If you need to take a break, get some rest, take care of yourself, okay? Thank you so much for sharing your community with me. I was talking about my office job in like significant detail. But I crashed out. Yeah, I crashed out really hard. Because I had already crashed out before because for a while I didn't mind doing my job because I don't like talking to people, especially on the phone. And I was good at doing it, but I didn't like doing it. So I had the opportunity to do debt collection via chat, which is really weird when you think about it. But I was really happy because I didn't have to talk to anyone. I could just type. Right? I was a keyboard warrior. And then one day, at the beginning of the month, I came in to go and sit at my desk where I was part of the chat department, and all my stuff was in a box, and someone else was sitting at my desk. And I was like, am I fired? I wasn't fired, but the toxic phrase that they liked to use at this job was like, the only constant in this job is change. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. But basically I got kicked off my team. They didn't like say it was a bad thing. They're just like, oh, we're just relocating you to another team. So I got moved to a different team. Because I think I spent too much time goofing off working in the chat department. And they didn't like that. Like, I did my work, but there was a lot of downtime. Because the other thing is, like, some of the other people, I think it boiled down to this. There was people that weren't the best at the job, and those people would, like, goof off, but they didn't really care because they were still, like, doing the job to a level that was, like, okay. But because I was good at the job, they wanted, maybe this is just a cope, but I think they wanted me to do more because it was like, you know, they're like, oh, you're good at it, let's capitalize off of that, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm good at the job, so I earned the ability to goof off. I earned the ability to be a funny little guy. I earned it in my mind. Just kidding. So, anyways, all my stuff was in a box, and I cried at work, and I had a panic attack, and then my team manager at the time basically told me that I needed to stop being emotional, and if I wanted to succeed in this line of work, that I need to not let my emotions control me. Anyways, that was my first crash out. And then we had the second crash out. That whole crash out, the second one, like, after I was basically told to get better at my job, and, like, wasn't meeting my expectations, or, like, wasn't meeting my metrics or whatever, from that point forward, and there is other stuff that was happening in my personal life at the time, but I was basically having, like, non-stop panic attacks in the bathroom every single day at work. And that was before I also started taking anti-anxiety medication. I'm a lot better now. This is all just to answer why I have the willpower to work, by the way. I didn't mean to tangent like this, but it happened. This is the power. This is the power of the pillow talk, man. This is the power. When I'm comfy in bed, when I'm comfy and laying down, I just want to yap. It's cozy. I feel like I can be, more vulnerable. But anyways, I crashed out. I ended up using all of my sick time, all of my vacation time, and then I did not have it in me to go to work anymore because I was just anxious all the time that I was going to slip up and make a mistake and then get fired or, like, be put on probation. And I was living on my own, so I kind of didn't really have an option. I was making good money. Like, I had a decent savings. So then, instead of, being rational and trying to find a better job, I went on mental health leave. So the good thing was I was basically, in telling me to, they referred me to their, like, mental health line through my job, basically. So I was like, okay. And I was able to get, like, a sabbatical, basically, where I knew someone else who was gone for, like, a month because of mental health, and then they came back to work. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll take a month off. I'll still be paid. They'll get, they'll deal with me being gone, and then I'll come back and everything will be fine. And I just kind of crashed out more when I was off of work and became super agoraphobic. I hated going outside. Just having any kind of social conversation with people filled me with a lot of anxiety. And yeah, I didn't have enough willpower to work like any other job for a while. So I grifted off my savings because I was making decent money. And I worked a few odd jobs after that. How long ago is this? Like 8 or 9 years, I think, at this rate. Well, that's like when I got the job. It was like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. Coffee addict, welcome. I also love coffee. But I don't think there's anything wrong with just working because you like money. I'm a girl made out of goo. I'm a glass cannon build, man. I do insane amounts of DPS But the moment that my defense drops, I fall apart. So I just don't think that I could handle that work environment long term. You know, like yeah. Yes, I did finish college, if you were wondering. The job I was working was completely unrelated to my degree. I just got a job because I wanted money, and I just wanted a lot of money. That was literally it. It was that easy for me at the time because I wanted to pay rent and be able to afford buying lots of things, because those were my goals at the time. It was that easy. But clearly it wasn't that easy, because then I crashed out and I was like, oh, I have all this money, but why am I not happy? But what? Huh? What? Clueless. But anyways, basically I spent like a few years really having to work up the motivation to try hard at anything. I had at least like a full year where, while I was working, like I did the bare minimum. I did not really apply myself at all. It was literally just enough to pay bills, and even then, like, there were months where I had to suck it up, and my savings account was no longer very big, and I had to ask my mom and my sister for help to pay rent, which, if you guys have ever experienced, it fucking sucks. It's like the worst feeling in the world, I feel like, is having to especially ask my older sister to help me cover my bills. Yeah, it feels like you're a burden. It feels really bad. It feels like poo-poo doo-doo for sure. But anyways, that's why I started streaming. I was like, fuck it, we ball, let's just try something. I was just willing to try anything and everything, just because otherwise I would just rot in bed. And I was really inconsistent with streaming at first. I would stream maybe like once a month, if that, to like 3 viewers, and I would just play Girls Frontline. It wasn't particularly good. I was just lonely, and I wanted to talk to people, and I wanted to be able to have more confidence talking to people, because I was trying to get over my agoraphobia. I had a lot of close friends in person, and I had like a huge friend group at the time. My friend group was really, really, really big where I lived previously. So, but it was like kind of messy big, you know, because it was so big, not everybody got along. And I feel like, because I was an implant too, like I moved there from a completely different part of the country. I felt like, I don't know how to say this in like a nice way, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid growing up, and like the completely like vibe, I don't know, I guess if you're in the US, maybe you can speak to this and experience this. It feels like, while American culture is like very unique compared to a lot of other countries, even within that, culture in different parts of the US is very different. At least as someone who has lived in like 3 different distinct parts of the US and had friends in a lot of other parts of the US. So, like, nothing but respect to everyone who lives in the South. But, like, the whole conversation about, at the beginning of the stream, talking about not knowing how to read people who are two-faced. Like, everyone wears masks. I wear masks sometimes too, right? But living in the South was like, people masked like hard. It was so difficult because people would be there were people that I thought were like my closest friends, but then like 2 minutes later someone would tell me that they like said insane shit about me on like locked accounts or whatever, right? Because this was like peak Twitter. This was like peak Annie Twitter, peak anime Twitter. All of my friends, a lot of my friends were part of anime Twitter and cosplay Twitter and convention Twitter. And I still have some of those friends today. But anyways, it was just very difficult for me a lot of the time. So yeah. But it's part of why VTubing is crazy to me, because it's like there's so many people that I either interface with or see you guys or other friends of mine like fan over, and a lot of it is people that I just like have known for a really long time. I'm like, it's weird to me, bro. Everyone is connected. No matter where you go, everyone is connected. I've just been online for too long. The world is very small. The world is very small. Yeah. I don't think disliking it is particularly good. You just gotta live with it, man. Just don't shit where you eat. It's that easy, I think. I guess it's different for other people because, like, for me, online is my job. Being online is my job. So I don't particularly shit where I eat. But I know that the internet is a dumping zone for, like, the majority of the population. Right? And I have to realize that more often than not. It's just a dumping zone for a lot of people, for their emotions, their frustrations, their anger, their insane thoughts and behaviors. You know? Oh, Taro wants in. Should I let Taro in? Taro's looking at me from the crack in the door, and he's shoving his little peat. He's shoving his little peat. Okay. Hold on. I'll let him in. I fucking can't with him. I open the door, and you want to know what he does? He runs away. Fucking asshole. Classic. Stay on. This guy. I felt so bad for him earlier. He was in the windowsill behind my desk. I don't know if he slipped. Like, I don't know what happened. But he just fell like a brick. I was like, no! Poor guy. I'm gonna get comfy again, and if he ignores me again or bothers us again, then it is what it is. Anyways, I'm sorry this is taking so long to answer why I have the willpower, but basically, I just like streaming. I have the willpower to work hard because I like working hard. I just like streaming. I work hard at what I do because it's fun for me. It's like fulfilling. It's hard to say to anyone. Like, it's just, I guess for me, it's like it's easy to work hard at something that feels fulfilling. But I also just have that dog in me that likes to be good. I just am sweaty. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm just like always like this. When I play games, I try hard. When I make food, I try hard. I either try really hard or I don't try at all. There's no in between for me. I'm just sweaty, man. Is it bad that I envy that? No, I don't think it's bad. But I think it's just like my brain is just wired that way. I think if you feel like you don't have the willpower to work hard, something that I would recommend is just like working hard does not have to be like career work, I guess. Just if there isn't one thing that you really like to do, then it's important to try lots of things, I think. I think that was part of why I was able to rekindle my ability to work hard. Because I've always been someone who's really lazy if something isn't, like, fulfilling for me. If I don't feel like I have anything to gain out of it, it is easy. I just don't try. And when I had kind of my crash out period, I didn't have willpower to do anything. I was literally a degenerate who could barely feed myself. I didn't want to go to the grocery store. Like, everything that involved effort was just like too much for me. I just wanted to bed rot. Like, getting up was too much effort. Cleaning, too much effort. Honestly, Taro was a big reason why I was able to start to take care of myself, because I had this little gray guy whose life depended on me. And I'm like, fuck, shit, oh, this guy needs me. He literally will die if I don't take care of him. That's fucked up, man. That's literally why I got a cat. Well, it wasn't, he needed a home, but like, at the time my therapist was really recommending me to get a cat. Because I've had cats for a lot of my life, and even when I was living with friends, they had cats a lot. I've always lived with cats. Or if I haven't lived with cats, then it's just like, there's no animals. So, anyways, I got Taro. Taro needed someone to take care of him. He had like people who were fostering him, but they said they would not keep him long term, and they were really hoping to find a home for him. And he was so cute as a kitten. Oh my god, I can't get... Every time I see his kitten pictures, I'm like... He was like the cutest little scrimblow. He was so small. He's so big now. Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm done being emotional for that. We should look at pictures of him again sometime soon. I'll show you guys kitten pictures of Taro. He was so cute. Anyways. But, yeah, I guess for me, like, having a pet really helped me to have the willpower to do anything. So, yeah. And because he's at the door again. He hears me talking about him. He knows. He always knows. He knows. He knows we're talking about him. He said, let me in. Let me in. I'm right here. But I just tried a lot of new things. Some of them were stupid, I would say. I got a really bad haircut. I got really bad hair dye jobs at the time. What did I do? I went on a lot of walks. I started learning how to cook because I was too broke to go out to eat. So I wanted to try cooking once, because taking care of Taro meant I had to go out more to get stuff like cat food and cat litter. I had to force myself out, because it's really weird how it's so much easier for you to take care of someone else than it is to take care of yourself, you know? But I started going out, and I knew I liked good food, and I had learned a few recipes already, and I also had a few really strong, like really good results from my cooking in the past when I cooked for friends. Like, one thing that I think I got really good at cooking first was tonkatsu, or like pork cutlet. I learned how to make it from a friend and just had a lot of fun experimenting with it. But I've just always kind of been someone who's creative, so, and a lot of my willpower is a desire to be creative as a form of self-expression, because I feel like there's so much of myself that if I don't express it, I'll either lose it, like lose that part of myself, or that part of myself will implode. So even if it's just something like cooking or bartending, making drinks, I think that was one thing that I wrote, especially, is for 2025, I want to create something every day. Even if it's just junk journaling, even if it's just cooking, I want to make something. Take ingredients or supplies or something laying around. I think it's possible to create something every day. Like I said, you can always just make something funny to drink. I'm not going to say that everything I make every day is good. I'm sure whatever I create that day, there's bound to be flops. But I think it's important to me What else did I write down? Here, let me see. I mean, in a way, streaming is creating, right? I am creating entertainment. Painting is creating, cooking is creating. Even just taking pictures. Even just taking pictures is creating. Photography? Oh my fucking god. Might be time to wrap up here pretty soon. He's on his worst behavior. Makes me tired just hearing that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think half of the challenge is figuring out how to create something with minimal effort. I think that's fulfilling and fun to me, is to try to think about how to innovate when I am feeling really exhausted, feeling really tired. It's to learn through trial and error what I can create with the most minimal amount of effort. You know? Like I said, even if it's just like taping a bunch of junk in my journal, which is like very low effort, I think I could do it. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be days where I don't feel like doing anything. That's just part of living for me. But that's part of the challenge, is also that when I inevitably have days where I can't output, that's all the more reason to have more input. I think that's like a big thing that I realized in the last year, is to be conscious of what I input. So like if I'm really tired and I just want to rot and watch something, or I just want to not think, just want to consume, either watching stuff or listening to stuff, reading. Even when I just want to really rot and watch something or play a game, I think it's just about being a little bit more conscious of what I decide is what I want to input. So even if I have guilty pleasures like playing Girls Frontline 2, which I've been playing a lot of lately, and it's a gacha game, and I told myself I would quit gacha, but I knew that when Girls Frontline 2 came out, I would have been back on my bullshit. I think I was conscious about it, right? I'm not just playing a gacha that I don't care about just because I'm ooh, neuron activation. Maybe this is all just a cope, but I do like Girls Frontline. I like Mika Team. I like the dev studio. I enjoy the overall narrative that they have had. But I was okay, you guys gotta realize that the original Girls Frontline was my personality for 2 years. At least. That was my hyperfixation. That whole time that I was telling you guys that I was just bed rotting, the only thing that I put effort towards was Girls Frontline. And Final Fantasy 14. Yes, that too. Yes. Those were my personality for those 2 years of my life. Was FF14, and that's why I always talk shit about FF14 now, because I think I'm above it. I'm better than that, man. I'm better than that. But apparently I'm not better than Girls Frontline. It's just, listen, it's fun, because you know who else has been playing a lot of Girls Frontline too? Min's Papa. He loves gacha games, man. He joined our platoon. He was the first one to join my platoon, man. I invited Mins to the platoon I made in GFL2, and he was the first member. I was like, oh my god, he's a real one. But, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I just want to be conscious. So even if it's something that's like a guilty pleasure, like Girls Frontline 2, or playing like Brain Rot game, I think I can still have a level of conscious choice of what brain rot I consume, you know? I think there's nothing wrong with consuming things that like are seen as like guilt-ridden, you know? It's important. You gotta eat the cake, you know? Sometimes you just want it, you just gotta eat the cake. Treat yourself, you know? But I just want to be conscious about what I consume. So I've been making an effort to only watch like a show if I really feel like I had something to gain from it. But another thing that I realized that I read, I was reading, I still need to read more of it, but I brought a book from Shimada called The Creative Gene. It's a book that's written by Kojima. I don't know if he's written that many books, but he wrote this one. And in the like intro section, it talks about how if anyone who follows him knows that he watches a lot of movies, he reads a lot of books, and he watches a lot of anime, and like he's overall very he will consume himself, right? He is a consumer. He is a consumer. Just like the rest of us. But he himself says that like he has worked hard to curate and really kind of make conscious decisions over what he has interest in, but also accepts that not everything that piques his interest will be good. I know people make jokes that you can tell when Kojima doesn't like a movie because he'll tweet that he's seeing it and he never talks about it. But when there's something that he really likes, he has so much to say about it. And I can really relate to that. There's a lot of stuff that I will watch just because I'm like, I want a level of entertainment from it. I want to see what story is to be told. Even if it's a bad story, even if the story doesn't make sense. And Kojima said in his book that part of searching for winners is what he calls it, is where like finding really good movies, finding really good stories that really connect with you on an emotional level, that every time you consume something that you're like, well, that was just okay, or even like, that was bad, is to not see it as a waste of time, see it as a waste of effort, a waste of a view, a waste of whatever money, but as a necessary part of finding the next thing that really does connect with you. So I really liked that. I thought that was something that helped me really put into perspective. I've had a lot of regrets, like even like I talked shit about Final Fantasy 14, and I did spend a lot of time in that game and a lot of money on that game, and a lot of me had, the reason I stuck around so long was because of like sunken cost fallacy, but besides that, I don't want to see that as a waste of time, because that time spent in a way did lead me to things that I have more connection with, you know? And at the same way, like, it still led me down a path that has helped me find games that I do like, or even like producers that worked on the game that I liked, like artists that I like, that have done fan art either for like games that I don't care about much anymore. And otherwise, it's just nice to have them as kind of like bookends for certain parts of my year, or parts of my life rather. It's like a means of quantifying an era in a way. Yeah, better to not regret and just learn from it. Exactly. So, anyways, I did write down in the same intro that Kojima was talking about, really trying to hone his creative eye. I wrote this down because I really liked it, which is, by training my eye and my aesthetic perceptivity to find winners, I formed my own viewpoint and values, which yield creative output with originality. And I was like, yo, that's so real. I really do enjoy that Kojima doesn't have a high standard for what he enjoys. From deeper, more sophisticated films to some blockbuster superhero movies, he finds joy in a lot of places. Exactly. I really recommend the book. If you just like Kojima, if you think Kojima is fascinating as like a being, as an artist, as a creator, it's been really, really, really fun to just see him talk in more detail, like the kind of, because it's like literally like he references his own tweets in the book. It's just kind of how he is as a person. So I really recommend it so far. But I'm also not very, very, very like far into the book, I guess I should say. So, but I think it was just as someone who feels fulfilled the most with creating, I think it's been a really good read for that, to kind of see what it's like to create by someone else who I really like the creative vision of. Even though I still haven't played a lot of Kojima games, just playing all of Snatcher and Police Notes enough, and just kind of seeing the cultural impact he's had with like streaming and video games, I'm like, he sure has his own flaws, don't get me wrong, we all do. I don't think he's like a god or anything. He's a human, just like the rest of us. But that's exactly why I think it's so fascinating to read his book. Because I'm also human, and I have my own mistakes, my own shortcomings. So, to kind of see someone else's creative vision and how they've developed their own creative eye, as someone who especially, like, I've made jokes before that in my server, all we watch is Kino. Oops, all Kino. But, I don't know, it's like that because I have worked really hard and also kind of went to college for training my creative mind. I basically got a degree in media literacy, so I mean, it's not just a degree in media literacy. I got a degree in specifically in entertainment industry, I guess, for my own safety reasons. I won't say exactly what the degree was, but yeah, I worked in like a theater department basically and studied there, and that was my life for most of my college. I would go to school at like 9 a.m. and then leave campus at 11 p.m. And even when I wasn't working, if I wasn't at school, I was working my part-time job, which was at a movie theater. So movies and entertainment were a big part of my life. Live performance was a big part of my life too. I think that's why I really like streaming. I really, really, really love live audience interaction. I think there's nothing like it. I love movies. I like books and manga and stuff that can be consumed at your own pace. But there's just something that is really nice about having the ability to connect with an audience in real time and share space and memories together. To be able to create something together, because live performance cannot exist without a live audience. So it's really important to me, and that's a big reason why I don't think streaming is a waste of time anymore. Because even if, in my eyes, what I'm streaming is the bare minimum or really low effort, and I think it's not about the output, but rather the interaction with you guys. The interaction with chat. Even if it's just a VOD that's being watched. Being able to see other people's thoughts and excitement and feelings about my work is really, 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 really important to me. As I think at the end of the day, all art is meant to be consumed. Art is meant to be seen and perceived. I think there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with creating art for the sake of practice, or creating art that is never seen by anyone, but at the same time, I think if you never let anyone see your art, that you won't be able to experience a lot of the benefits of being someone who's creative. And I think that's another thing that I learned, especially this year, is how to not feel shame over my art, feel a lot of pride, and accept that my art is imperfect, and still have pride when I share it with people, share it with you guys and my friends. So I just want to say, I know I've only really talked in your one ear this entire night. Someone complained about that on YouTube. They're like, why do you spend so long on one ear with my ASMR? Like, sorry, I don't know what you want from me. Like, it's infuriating. I'm like, okay. I didn't actually reply to it, but anyways. What was I saying? I already forgot because I remembered stupid YouTube comment. I'm just really happy to be here. I'm going into this year. I know I just spent the whole stream just talking near one ear, but I feel like now that I've done this kind of silly pillow talk stream 3 times, 3rd time's the charm. I feel like there's a part of myself that I can share this way that is hard for me if I'm just sitting at my desk or just streaming normally outside of ASMR. You know? I like being able to, as someone who's a glass cannon, be able to kind of show my vulnerabilities, show some of my softer spots, and connect with you guys. Because these feelings are an important part of my own creative vision. And especially after working a job where I was told that if I want to do good work, that I shouldn't let my emotions control me. I have really strong emotions, so if they're gonna control me, whether I want them to or not, I'd rather be able to harness that control to the best of my ability. Calm talking and sounds. Personal talks are cozy and comforting. I'm happy. I like doing triggers too, though. But here, I'll tap your ear just a little bit. But I've also been streaming for like 3 hours, so I should probably wind down soon. I know last time we did pillow talk, I gave you a nice ear cleaning. I even got this stuff out to do it, but I had too much to yap, I guess. I said it during the cookie stream that New Year's is actually my very favorite holiday. I don't dislike Christmas. It's just like Christmas is like New Year's pregame for me. I'm like, it's cool, but like the New Year is just always a time of year where I feel really happy to reflect and think back. I know some people don't particularly look forward to the New Year because they're like, ooh, I'm getting old. Or it's like thinking back and being like, life is fucked up. I think there's a way to be really bleak about it, but I'm someone who this time of year has always been really important to me, and I've always been able to gain a level of growth and positivity from. That's why it's my favorite. By the time I remember what year it is, it's changing over to the new year. So true. It's me even earlier. I was reading some of the journal prompts that I was thinking of writing about, and I just said, what are you looking forward to for 2024 or something? And I was like, wait a minute. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being you. I don't really remember when I started doing that as a send-off, but I really do mean it. I feel like something that I've really realized this year too is that our community is really unique. There's nothing or anywhere else online that's quite like the community that I've nurtured here. And I don't think there's anything wrong with lurking or just, chilling and watching. But it makes me really happy to know that the people who do go out of their way to talk to me and participate with me, I don't know, you guys are freaks, but at the same time, like, so well behaved. It's insane. I would say, like, I don't know how you balance it, to be quite honest. You keep that shit on a leash. Just like me, for real, for real. I feel bad being a lurker sometimes, but I don't know what to post in chat. Dude, I'm the exact same way. I barely chat, and I think Shimada's chat is like, that's why I was like, oh man, because my number one most watched streamer was Shimada, and it's like, you're in the top 10% of Tekken viewers, and I'm like, I don't even I got one guy, it's so hard. But I also don't usually know what to say. I just like making fun of Shimada mostly because her chat laughs and I go, yay. They think I'm funny. But it's fun to be a chatter sometimes, I think. It's fun to have banter from the other side, especially. And that's another... I keep saying I should wind down, but then I think of more stuff to talk about because New Year's just makes me very introspective. I just want to be yappy, more chatty, in other people's chats when I can. I think it just sucks because Twitch is like fucking cooked, man. All of the ads, like, I will be so excited to watch someone stream, and the minute I get a pre-roll, I'm just like, all of the wind is out of my sails, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do something else. I just don't. I can't sit through it. I just can't. It's so annoying. And I can't afford to sub to everyone. I guess I just gotta be like real annoying. And I don't wanna be the type of person that's like, ooh, give me a gift sub. Ooh. But like if the shoe fits, you know. Twitch Turbo. Okay, so my thing with Twitch Turbo is like I really contemplated it, but also Twitch already gets so much money from my channel when you boil it down and you look at what the split is and you really see how much they be making, and then you multiply it by the amount of fucking streamers on this platform. I'm like, I really don't want to give them another, like, what is it, $12-15 a month? I'm like, no, I just can't do it consciously. Like, it just so yeah, but I do want to try to be a bit more active in my friends' streams, lurk less. I know they always tell you to lurk more, but I'm like, okay, I think I've lurked an adequate amount. I think I can start posting. I'll start posting a bit, you know, as a treat.
Thank you so much for watching and being here tonight. Oh, I forgot to say thank you to all the subs earlier too. Wait. I'll just go from the beginning again. Naihu, thank you so much for 32 whole months.
Speaking of being down bad,
You'll never escape at this rate. Thank you so much for the resub. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Blazing Bear, thank you so much for 5 months. I'm making fun of Naihu specifically because Naihu complains about how weird this community is and like makes fun of me. So it's just like I had to make fun of them back. You see, you understand. That's what happens when you subscribe for like 30 plus months. Is that you've been here long enough that I have earned the right to be an asshole to you. It's just how I show I care. Boku no kaine no. Blazing Bear, thank you so much for 5 months. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hold on, I gotta cough. Entropy of Desire, thank you so much for the reason for 2 months. I really appreciated it, and I'm happy that you've made your way to my neck of the woods online. Thank you so much. Critical Innocence, thank you so much for 28 whole months. Thank you. Thank you so much. 1
funny.
Thank you so much for the resub for 7 months. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Adios, Luna.
You've fallen right into my tenshi trap.
Thank you so much for downloading your very own desktop tenshi. You're one of us now. Thank you so much for seeding. Yay! Thank you.
Now you have no choice. You downloaded, no free leech. You have to seed from this point forward. That's how it works.
I'm joking. Thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight.
It's almost 1 in the morning,
so I should probably wind down. Don't forget that I'll be streaming again after I wake up. I might start late, let's be real, because I have to put away everything. And then I have to set up my race wheel stuff. Because tomorrow I'm going to play more Gran Turismo. Oops. I'm sorry. But,
I have to play Gran Turismo. Not I have to. I want to. I will be playing Gran Turismo tomorrow. Because we're locking in. I gotta practice. I gotta commit to practicing. Lock in. Because on Saturday, we race.
I'm racing against Shimada on Saturday. I gotta lock in
and get good.
So, I'll see you tomorrow.